Today, the third day and the final day of our stay at Reykjavik, Iceland. As we are not very sure of our Northern Lights hunt, we have organized for some other activities. We have to wait till 3 o'clock to find out if we are really going to see the Northern Lights today. Let's see what happens. We have come to the point where our tourist bus is going to pick us up for today's tour. The bus stop waiting for our tours. We just got onto a bus, and while you are enjoying the scenery around, let me try and tell you what we are planning to do today. We are departing on a tour called the Golden Circle Tour. This is going to take us to some of the important places around Reykjavik. We expect this tour to last for about 8 hours, and since we are leaving at 8 a.m., we should be back by 4 o'clock so that it will give us enough time to look for our Northern Lights hunting in the night. First, this tour will take us to an area called Geyser area, which is popular for its hot water springs. The most important one is Geyser. The next we'll be traveling to Gulfos Falls, and this is a natural wonder in which you will see the waterfalls from top. And finally, we will reach the Pink Lever National Park, which is a geological wonder. While you are listening to the tour guide, let me also explain to you about what we will be seeing in those places a little later.
Which tells us about the Christianization of Iceland. It is said to have ran the same year Icelanders became Christians. This crater to the left, and there are hot springs here to the left. But this is a ski resort no more. And here hot springs. Hot spring fence, and there are many hot springs in this town. All over. And also, as I said before, there are earthquakes here every day. But they are normally just very small. Except 2008 we had quite a big earthquake here. This earthquake actually, there were no clouds, and only the whole of the land was covered with snow, so it was totally white. Very beautiful picture from from space of Iceland, totally covered with snow, except one patch in the middle was black, and that was the lava from this eruption, which was still warm a couple of years later, and all snow there melted, so it was a black patch. Almost. And we can see that it is less than 4 years in average between volcanic eruptions. You know, it can go like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years even. And maybe some generations have lived in Iceland without experiencing a volcano at all. Maybe.
We are at the famous Geyser. Hot springs around, and the main geyser will be somewhere ahead. The Geyser is a well-known high-temperature geothermal area, and the word Geyser has given a name to other spouting hot springs all around the world, the word Geyser. In Icelandic, the term Geyser means to erupt. Strokor is the main attraction at the Geyser geothermal area. It erupts now with approximately an 8-minute interval, some 25 to 30 meters high into the air, but that can change and erupt even when you are totally unprepared and then erupt again. We are now slowly walking towards the main attraction, the Strokor Geyser in this area. On the way, we are seeing a lot of small geysers and hot water flowing all through the landscape. We even came across a small geyser which is called Little Geyser. Now we are at the main geyser, the Strokur Geyser. We are waiting for it to erupt. But now we are in a dilemma, whether to use our video camera or just a photo. Ultimately, it turned out that at the time of its eruption, we could only take a photo. It was a very enjoyable experience, and it reminded me of one of my previous experiences in New Zealand in a place called Rotorua. We had a hearty lunch at a restaurant in Geyser and then moved on to our next destination, which was Gulfos Waterfalls. We are going to Gulfos Waterfalls. We have arrived at the Gulfos Waterfalls Visitors Center. From here, it is about 10 to 15 minutes walk down to the viewing station, from where you can have a magnificent view of the falls. Gulfos Waterfall is probably one of the first waterfalls you will visit in Iceland. Gulfos literally means golden falls. Visiting Gulfos is unique because you view the waterfall from above instead of below. Think of any waterfall you have been to. Chances are pretty high that you viewed that waterfall from the bottom. Gulfos Waterfall is one of the natural wonders of Iceland, and it is unique because you view the falls from above and it appears that the waterfall is actually going underground. Seeing a waterfall seemingly disappear into the earth is a very memorable experience. The viewpoint from the Gulfos Visitor Center is very safe, and it is well maintained, and it is open throughout the year. There are also steps down to a lower viewpoint of Gulfos that are open during winter, but they can become quite icy and you have to watch your steps. Come on, let's walk down to a lower deck for a closer view. This is the Gulfos Waterfalls, and this canyon is formed because of the North American plate and the Asian plate split. This was as close as we can get to the waterfall. Now that we have experienced the magnificent view of Gulfos Waterfalls, let's walk up back to the visitor center towards our next destination, which is Thingvellir National Park. Thingvellir National Park is where you walk between two continents. Iceland is divided by the Mid-Atlantic Rift. One side it is North American tectonic plate, and the other side it is Eurasian plate. Iceland is the only place in the world where this rift is above sea level, and nowhere else can you see the edge of both plates as clearly as in Thingvellir. As you enter the park from Reykjavik, you descend a steep cliff into a valley. Looking upon the face of this cliff is to literally look at the edge of North America. If you drive through the park, you will ascend on the other side, adjacent to another wall. This is Eurasia. The valley in between, in which Thingvellir is contained, is called the Rift Valley. It was 3 o'clock in the evening. I started wondering if they have announced anything about the sighting of northern lights for tonight. I have only this night, and tomorrow morning early I have to leave for the airport to catch my flight. Will I be able to see this today? We still have an hour and a half drive back to the capital. What do I do? I casually walked up to the driver of our bus and asked him, have they announced anything? And he said, yes, today you can see the northern lights. Wow, what a relief. The tour was for about 3 hours and it would leave at about 9 o'clock in the night from the old harbor, which was hardly 5 minutes walk from the hotel. We thought we could come back by 12 o'clock, then pack our bags and leave for the airport. It was a very close chase. We are going on a Northern Lights hunt on a boat. We are waiting for boarding. It was a small boat for about 25 people. We left in time at 9 o'clock. We anchored somewhere middle of the sea, and slowly the scene started opening in front of us. Green lights dancing in front of our eyes. It was a great sight and we were totally forgetting our presence. We reached back to our hotel, had some rest, and were able to catch the next early morning flight. I'm sure you enjoyed our experiences in Iceland. Wait for a week and let me take you to a new destination. From the west, shall we go to the east next week?